So let us use the image tag today. Okay. So for example, if you want to, let me go to a different page. Let us download this. Okay. Save image as nature.jpg. Okay. Now we use one tag called image tag. Okay. IMG tag. Okay. And to give the link, like where is my image, like that, we use one attribute called src, and in that we will give the link of our image. Okay, what is the name that I have saved? If you people remember, it is nature.jpg. Okay, let me just save it and let me just refresh. Are you able to see the image right now?
Yeah.
Okay, suppose if the image is in different folder. Okay, right now my html file and my image file are in the same folder. Suppose if it is in different folder, let me show you that. So suppose you can see anusha.html is in this folder, and where is nature? Yeah, are you able to see the nature here as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so these are in the same folder. Suppose if this is in different folder. Okay, let me just copy it to images. So this is no longer there. Okay, now let me just use the folder. I have kept it in one folder called images. In the images folder, there is a file. There is this image called nature.jpg. Okay, let me just save it. And are you able to see the image still?
Yeah.
Okay, suppose if I give the URL incorrectly, like nature.jpg is incorrect, right? Because this is in images folder. Now let me refresh. Are you able to see the image now? No. Okay. So you need to give the exact URL, then you will be able to render your image. Suppose if you want to render the suppose if your image is not getting rendered. Okay, suppose if you have given some wrong URL or something. Suppose if your image is not getting displayed, and if you want to give some alternate text to be displayed for this image, you can use one attribute called alt. Okay, alt, and this is a image. Okay, let me just save it and let me just show you. Are you able to see this alternate text?
Yeah.
Okay, understood. When this alternate text will be displayed, whenever the image is not displayed, then only this alternate text will be displayed. Suppose if we give the image slash images or images. Okay, now if you give it correctly, are you able to see the alternate text now?
No, there is no text.
Okay, now you understood what is the use of that alt attribute.
Yes, yes.
What is the use of the source attribute?
To link the image that we need.
Very good. To link the image URL. Basically, we are giving the URL of our image. Any doubt till here? Did you understand the image tag, right? Suppose if you want to give some width and height to your image, that also you can do. So height or width we will give in the form of pixels. Okay, so everything will be considered as pixels, whatever we give it here. Okay, height 100 pixels, width 100 pixels. Okay, now let me just save it. Now, are you able to see your image?
Yeah.
Okay, so we can even debug this HTML. Debug in a sense like what is its height, what is its width, what is the size of the heading font size, everything we can check. Okay, so that you will check. You have these three icons here, right? Here, if you go, you have something called more tools. In this, you need to select something called developer tools. Okay, now you have this cursor icon. If you just select it, and if you place it over the HTML element you want, you can see all of the information here. What is this tag? You can see here.
H1. Yeah.
You can see here itself, right? It is a H1 tag. What is the font size we have used? Like inbuilt font size that came?
P2.
32 pixels.
32 pixels.
Font 32 pixels times it is visible, right? So its font size is 32. Suppose if I hover on this tag, what is this tag? 1 second. What is this tag?
H2.
H2.
H2 tag.
What is the color of the text here?
Pink.
Color black.
Black. You can see black hash hash 00 and all, right?
Black.
What is its font size?
54 pixel.
24 pixel.
Okay. Suppose if you select
Pixel.
the image right now, what is the tag that you have used?
Image tag.
And you can see something called 100 cross 100. Yes
Yeah.
or no? It is its width
Yeah,
and
yeah.
height. Okay. It is its width and height. Suppose if you want to give some height to be 200 pixels and width to be 300 pixels, and let me just save it. Let me just reload it. Now are you able to see the image has been increased, size and the width?
Yeah.
You can see it here, the width and the height.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is how you will be using the image tag. Okay, no doubts, right? Suppose if I want to make some more, I want to see some more height for this image. What should I do?
You just have to change the height of it.
Height to some, whatever we want. Suppose if I say 500 pixels, are you able to see it is stretched?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is how we will be using the image tag. And apart from this, I want to tell you about forms. Suppose if you go to a bank, you will be filling some forms, correct? Yes or no?
Yeah.
So what kind of data you will be entering in that form?
Like name, phone number, address, middle name, last name.
Correct. So bank account number, your name, phone number, everything you will be given. So in HTML also we have forms. Okay. So that forms are basically like if you are having a Facebook account, and you will be entering some data, right? Correct. And using that data, you will be signing up, or using that data, you will log in into your account, correct? So those are nothing but basically forms. Okay, those are nothing but forms. So how to create a form in the HTML? We use one tag called forms tag. What is the tag that is used for the creation of the form?
Form tag.
Form tag.
Okay. So we have, we will be writing some input into the boxes provided. For example, Facebook sign up. So these are the input boxes, whatever you are seeing. Like you are entering something, which means you are giving some input, correct? So these are called input boxes. To create input boxes, we use one tag called input. Okay.
Okay.
Now, let me just save it and let me just refresh it. Are you able to see one box here?
Yeah.
Okay. Suppose you, whatever text you want to enter, okay, that can be defined in different ways. For example, you have given input box, but you need to tell the user like what kind of data you need to enter into that input box, right? Example, if it is related to name, you will give your name. If it is related to your phone number, you will be giving your phone number. Okay. If it is related to giving some country name, you will just give your country name. Okay. So that you can do it in two ways. Either you can do placeholder. Okay. So right now you are able to see something called surname inside. So, and whenever you write some text, are you able to see that surname? No, right? Whatever
No.
input you have given, that you are able to see. So, in order to tell what kind of content you want to enter into that input box, okay, we use something called placeholder. Okay. So, placeholder equal to enter your name. Are you able to see right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Now you can enter your name. Suppose if nothing is there, it will ask you to enter your name. The another way is we can just use a label. Okay. For example, you can just use one tag called label tag. Okay. And you can give it like, please enter your name. Now, are you able to see some label before your input box?
Yeah.
So that we will understand what kind of data to be entered into this input. Understood?
Yeah.
Okay. And we use one attribute called for. Okay. Like for what we are using this table. For what we are using this input. For name, I am using this input box, correct? So I'll just give for equal to name, and we can even give what type of data to be entered into this input box. Okay. If we give type equal to text. Okay. So you can enter all kind of letters or all kind of text. Let me just comment out this image. It is annoying. Okay. Now you can enter all kind of data, A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, tilde symbols, special characters, everything. Since you have mentioned it's as a text. Okay. Suppose if you mention the type as number, okay, you will be able to or allowed to enter only numbers. If you are trying to enter any character, that will not be displayed into your input box. Understood?
Yeah.
Okay. Suppose if you are entering your password anywhere, are you able to see that password? It will be masked
No.
with dot 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 or star star star, right? So for such kind of scenarios, we use the type as password. Are you able to see now? Yes. Are you able
Yeah.
to see the dot dot dot?
Yeah.
Okay. This is how you will be creating the inputs. Okay. Now let us create one full-fledged form. Okay. Now I will give for the name, type will be text, and I can even give name for my input box as name. Okay. Let me create one more label, and this label is for age. Okay. And let me create age, and let me create one input box, and age will be of type number, right? So I'll give the type equal to number. I will give the name for my input box as age, since it is related to age input. Okay. Next, I'll create one more label, and for equal to phone number. Okay. And I will just give, please enter your phone number. Okay. And input type equal to number, and name equal to number. Anything you can give, whatever you want the name for your input box to be. Okay. Now, let me give one more label, and for equal to country. Okay. Now, please enter your country. Okay. And you can give the input box, and you can give type equal to text. Okay. And you can enter name equal to country. Okay. And the next, we want to have one button like sign up for Facebook. You want to have some button. So you can create a button using two ways, using button tag or using the input. Okay. So input, if you give type equal to submit, which is a kind of button. Okay. It will submit your details.
Okay.
Okay. Now let me just save it, and let me just show it to you. Are you able to see all the input boxes? Yes or no?
Yeah. Yeah.
Suppose you want them to be entered in a new line. Then what is the tag that we use?
BN.
BR tag, line break. Are you able to see all of them in the next lines? Suppose if you
Yeah.
want some more space, what you can do, you can just give another break. Are you able to see now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, whatever data you want, basically, you can just enter here, and you can just submit it. Okay. So basically, when you click submit button, what will happen? This entire data, you need to create one logic so that that data will go to the backend. That logics and all I will be explaining you in Angular how to do it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so we can even add some validation. Okay, validations are nothing but, suppose some of the fields are mandatory, but you haven't filled them. So we need to ask the user to enter those details, right? So those are called validations. For example, I haven't entered anything in this Facebook form. Okay. Now I'll click on sign up. Are you seeing some errors?
Yeah.
What are they? Right. What is your name? And you can see even this is highlighted with red, correct?
Hmm.
Enter your surname, mobile number, everything becomes mandatory. So we have one attribute called required. Required means it's a mandatory field. Okay. So I'll use something called required, which means that it's a mandatory field. Okay. Now let me just go here and let me just click on the submit button. Are you able to see some error?
Yeah.
What is the error?
Please fill in this field.
Okay. Suppose if I remove this required attribute, okay. Now, if I just click on submit button, you are not able to see that error right now, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
required attribute is used for mandatory fields. Okay. And suppose you want the minimum length of the name to be 5 characters and maximum length to be 10 characters. So those are also one kind of validations, right? You need your name length at least 3 characters and not more
Okay.
than 5 characters or something. So we use some attribute called min length. Min length, how many characters?
Okay.
3. Okay. And what is the max length that should be there? For example, 5. Okay. Now let us try to enter one field and check its validity. Now, if I just click submit, I didn't refresh. Okay. If I just click submit, you can see please fill this field. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if I just give one character. Now, one second. Now, it gave you some error, right? Previously. Now, you are able to see some error.
Yeah.
Please lengthen this text to 3 characters or more. You are currently using only 1 character. So this is how you will be achieving validation for your forms. Understood?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Now if you give Anu, okay. Now if I try to submit, you didn't get any error. Now let me try to enter more than 5. You will not be even able to enter because we have given the max length as 5.
Yeah.
Okay. Now tell me how to make this age as a mandatory field.
You have to give required.
Very good.
Required.
We need to give the required attribute here. Okay. Now if I just make it required, now what I'll do, I'll just simply click on submit. It is giving the first error. Now let me just click on the submit. Are you able to see the error on the age?
Yeah.
Okay. Now how to make other 2 fields are also mandatory?
Same thing. You have to give the required attribute.
Very good. Required and required. Okay. Now, so you know as phone number should be how many characters? 10 characters. So what should be the minimum length and maximum length of a phone number?
10.
10. So what we can
Minimum 1 to 10.
we can give just maximum length to 10 and min length also to 10. Okay. Now I'll enter Anu, I'll submit this, I'll enter 1. Now it says this field is mandatory, now this. 1 second, I didn't refresh the screen. What happened? So I don't know why it's not validating right now. Let me do one thing. Let me give one second. Name, number I shouldn't use. Let me try that. Max length 10 and min length 10. So I'll just check like why those are not working and I'll come back to you tomorrow. Is that fine?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Now we have other properties. Suppose if you want to give the value
I
map.
have a small doubt.
Yeah, yeah.
So he is using for mandatory, like we are already mentioning like label, please enter your name now. So
Hmm.
why are we for again?
Suppose some lazy people will be there, no? You will ask, but they won't enter. But you need to restrict the user even before submitting the form data, right?
Yeah.
So that's why we use validations. Understood?
So for that required is enough, na? I'm not getting the exact usage of for.
Your wish. Nobody will enter like, please enter your name. They will just give
Yeah.
this. Okay. For your
Yeah.
understanding, I was just mentioning the text. This text is your wish, and according to the project, whatever they say, you can use.
So if we are erasing the text we are typing in here, will
Hmm.
it display the phone number and the label? Can you just run it once?
I didn't get you. Can you repeat it? You want me to type the phone number here?
No, no, no.
Okay.
If we are erasing the text that needs to be mentioned in the label, and if we are giving it in the fourth area,
Placeholder.
uh-huh.
Placeholder. Okay. So even before entering, you will be able to see this phone number placeholder.
Yeah.
Okay. Once you start entering into this, you will not be able to see it.
Yeah. So when we are using the placeholder, then
Placeholder
also we use the for, or is it not needed?
for at for attribute is only for label. Placeholder is different
Okay.
thing. Placeholder is an attribute for input box. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. For label, for is an attribute. Like for what you are creating label. So it's not mandatory to give it, but it's a good coding practice to give this.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, understood?
Yeah.
So we have other properties like suppose you want to set some value default to your input box. What you can do, you can use one attribute called value and you can just simply set value. So you can see I have set a value of Anusha. Now, are you able to see the value Anusha in the name input box?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if I click it, you will be getting the errors. Okay. Now, suppose while ever you are entering any value, we can just erase and we can enter the latest value. Value attribute is just used for, suppose if you are not giving any value, this becomes the default value. That is the meaning. Okay. And we have another attribute called disabled. Disabled just disables that input box and you will be no longer able to enter any text into that. Okay, so for that we use one attribute called disabled. So let me just, you can see it's completely grayed out.
Yeah.
And you will not even be able to select this. Like you are selecting this input box and highlighting with this border, right? You will not be able even to select this. Understood? So these comes like, suppose you have, you are trying to enter phone number, and based on the phone number, country code may get auto populated and may be disabled. Like +1 is for India, and you doesn't want any user to change that. So what
Yeah.
happens by that? You can simply disable it. Understood the use case?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let me just check. So we have one more attribute called no validate. Okay. So if we give this attribute no validate, the form will not be validated even if we have the validations. Okay. Now, if I just save it, and all these fields are mandatory. Okay. And if you just didn't fill any of them, you should get an error. But if you submit, are you getting any error right now? No, right?
Yeah.
No.
Suppose if I remove this field, no validate. Now, if I click on it, you can see the error, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Now, if you are telling no validate means don't validate this form. Now, you will not be able to see any error. The form will not be validated. Understood?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, let me ask some questions and we can continue everything in the tomorrow's class. And your homework for today is create a form with different types. Okay. So you can just go to what you can do. You can go to W3 schools and form type input types you can mention. And there will be different kinds of input types. You can practice all of these things. I will tell the remaining things tomorrow. Maybe you can practice remaining stuff tomorrow, but at least practice and come back for tomorrow. Is that fine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, ma'am.
So you can see which is the tag which is used for the creation of an image?
Page tag.
Image tag. So if you want to give the URL for an image, what attribute you will use?
SRC.
It's happening.
Okay. And suppose if the image is not displayed, and if you want some alternate text to be displayed for that image, then which attribute you will be using?
Alternate. ALT.
Alternate. Hail.
And if you want to give some width and height to your image, what attributes will you be using?
Height and width.
Height and width.
Width.
Okay. Now, which tag is used for the creation of the form?
Form tag.
Form tag. To create an input box, which tag we use?
Input tag.
Input tag. And what are the types that we can give for the input tag?
Label and placeholder.
I said type for the input box.
Okay. Okay. Numbers or
Text.
text numbers.
Hmm.
Text.
And then I told you about password. I told you about password also, right?
Yeah, password if we
Yes.
And
doesn't
I
work.
told you about submit, it will create a button.
Yes.
correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, so to give what kind of text to enter in that input box, what can we do?
Type attribute.
What attribute?
Type.
I said, what kind of input to be entered? In a sense, like either name, age, or how to tell that user that these data should be entered. Using which? What?
Yeah, like label of placeholders.
Label or the placeholder.
Yeah.
Okay. And suppose if I want to make my input box field mandatory, then which attribute I should use?
Required.
Required attribute.
And if you want to give some default value, then which attribute we should use?
Default like disabled.
I
Label.
said if we want to give some default value for my input box.
Value. No value.
No, disable.
Required disable.
It's disabled.
Value attribute, right? If you want to give initial value for your input box, disable is used for disabling your entire input box, not to enter anything. Understood, or shall I repeat it
Yeah.
once more?
No, understood.
Disable attribute is just used for
I
disabling.
just misinterpreted your question. Yeah,
Yeah.
understood.
And what is the validator or the attribute that you will be using for maximum length and minimum length for your input box text data?
Max length and min length.
Length.
Max length and min length. Okay.
Max.
Then, yeah, pretty much that. And how to create a button? In how many ways?
In
You can just give the button tag or you can give the input type submit.
Input type equal to submit. Okay. So that's it for today's class. And please practice these things and come back for tomorrow's class. Is that fine?
okay. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.